recording. Welcome to the virtual students. This is a preparation for quiz tomorrow. Okay, so here's the first example. I'll make this so that you all can see it a little bit better. Here we go. This is section 15.1, example 1, and copied into your notes. Those are the 4 things that we're going to find. You can start working on that, but eventually I'm going to walk through it with you. Go ahead and copy that. Circle. It's not in your book. This is not in your book. So you have to make the diagram yourself. Do you need to move up here, Raven, so you can see? You're welcome to. Kayla can look over your shoulder. Okay, so here we go. Now there's 3 things that I want to discuss with this picture. Okay? So listen, so I'm just going to do it verbally and I'm going to kind of point at the picture. All right, so here we go. Number 1. There are 2 angles which are 90 degrees. Angle B and angle D. The reason they're 90 degrees is because they are inscribed in semicircles. Anytime that they're inscribed in a semicircle, they are 90 degrees. So here's a semicircle, 90 degrees. Got it? That's number 1. Number 2, inscribed angles are equal to half the intercepted arc. So with that being said, which angle, name it please, somebody, is equal to 9 degrees? Evan. Angle BAE is equal to 9 degrees because it's an inscribed angle. Everyone okay with that? Got it? Okay. Here's the third thing. It's not drawn on there. I got to draw it in. I'm going to erase it so I can use this picture all day. If I were to draw a radius right here, this is called a central angle. So it's equal to 18. Don't forget that. Central angle is equal to its intercepted arc. Okay, everyone got that? All right, I'm going to erase. Okay, now let's go through some things. We know that BAE is 9. Y, somebody tell me, is the measure of arc ED 108. That somebody's going to be Corbin. 2 times 54. 54 times 2 gives you that arc measure, which is 108. Very good. ABE is 90, but why is AD, Zodi, why is arc AD 72? Zodi, let me give you a hint. The measure of arc ED from here to here is 108.
108 minus 180, or 180 minus 108.
Right? Why are we subtracting 108 from 180?
Because the semicircle is equal to 180.
Outstanding. Semicircle is 180 degrees. From E to A is 180 degrees. So if E to D is 108, then D to A is now 72. Very good. Let's keep going. William, why is BEA 81? Do you see it? Angle BEA is 81. Uh-huh. Say it again. No. Let's try that. That is true. 9 squared does equal 81. But that's not why that's 81. No. Nicholas.
To make it to get a guess is because to make it, if you are the math, you could complementary angle to subtract 9 from 90 to get 81.
Well, let me say it like this. Do you see this where I'm shading with the pencil, that triangle? What are all three angles got to equal? 180. If that's 9 and that's 90, doesn't it have to be 81? All three angles have to be 81. Why is the measure of angle AED 36? Same reason. We have a triangle down here. If that's 54, that has to be 36. Everyone okay with that? Okay. What is the measure of angle BD? Well, we add two arcs together, 18 plus 108, and the measure of arc BD is 126. And lastly, the measure of arc BAD, 360 minus 126. Why am I subtracting 126 from 360? What's the 360 represent? Circle. The entire circle is 360. So if from here to here is 126, we subtract it, and the measure is 234. Okay. Good on example 1. All right, let's go to example 2. Here's the new picture. Let me squeeze it in there. Right there. All right, copy it down. That's a lot of writing today. 5 examples.
Yeah, my 4 of them. Especially after on 6. All right, you guys all got it mostly copied down? All right, what I want to draw your attention to, and I'm going to outline it with my gray, lovely
Sharpie, is that we have a quadrilateral. JM, to ML, to LK, and then KJ. Everyone see the quadrilateral? Here is a truth. Within a quadrilateral that's inscribed in a circle, opposite angles are supplementary. So, if that's the case, I can set up that equation. The measure of angle J plus angle L is equal to 180. Looking at the picture, what's the measure of angle J? This, Chase. What's the measure of angle J looking at the picture? Do you see J at the top? Okay, what do we have as the angle measure? Just give the option. We don't have a number yet. This right here.
So the 40 plus 8x.
Yeah, 40 plus 8x. That's all you need, right? So angle J is 40 plus 8x. Sam, what's the measure of angle L? Very good. So that's our new equation. 40 plus 8x plus 5x minus 16. See how I got that? All right, everybody solve for x. Solve for x.
Just take a picture of your paper when you're done. I can't make this much.
Yes, you can.
Not without taking a 20-minute break. That's not the problem.
All right, what'd you guys get for solving for x? Anybody? William? 12. Very good. Let's see. We add like terms. 13x plus 24. We subtract 24. 13x equals 156. Divide by it. Whenever we solve for a variable, what do you think we do with the value of that variable then, Chase? Plug it in. It's like a common theme throughout geometry. When we find the value of the variable, we plug it back in. Go ahead and do that and find all four angles. Plug it back in and find all four angles. Zodi! What do you get for J?
136 degrees.
136 is exactly right. It's way at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully you can see it. If J is 136 fries, what's L?
44.
Outstanding. You just subtract it from,
Yeah, and
and you can plug it back in. Very good. Raven, what's K?
I don't have my calculator. Out 120.
Close. It's 240 divided by 4, so it's 60. I said K, didn't I?
Oh, I thought you said.
M? M is 120.
I thought.
Yes. Questions about those four? Good? Okay. Let's go to the next example 3. Get it just right. There we go. Okay, so in this picture, we've got, what's KM called? What is KM called, Nicholas? A tangent, that's right. So we've got two tangents going up, and so M and N are what we call points of tangency. That means that they are 90 degrees. All right, here's another piece of information that's given. The measure of arc, MPN, is 210. The measure of arc, MPN, is 210. So then we know at the point of tangency, CMK is 90 and CNK is 90. That is always the case. A radius or a diameter at the point of tangency is 90 degrees. Good? Okay, let's keep going. How do we get that the measure of arc MN, Lance Carrier, is equal to 150? Because it is, but why? We're using 210 from why is arc MN 150? Nicholas?
Because you're subtracting from 360.
360. Watch. If from this arc from M to P to N is 210, we know all the way around, circle, 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 is 360. Subtract away 210 and we get 150. All right, keep going. Look at this formula. How do we solve for x? There it is. You take 1/2 the difference of those arcs subtracted. Go ahead and solve for x. 1/2 the difference of the arcs. Okay, so our MPN is 210. 210 minus 150 is 60. Half of 60 is 30 degrees. Everyone okay with example 3? Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Okay, example 4 from section 15.4. There's the picture. Make sure your circle looks like a circle, not an ellipse, or a football, or an egg, or an oval. Mine kind of looks like an egg, I think. AB is called a tangent. What is BD called, Kayla? Yeah. What do you need? Got it? Okay, back to here. What's segment BD called? Corbin? A secant. What's segment BC called? External secant segment, or the external segment of a secant. Very good. So now here's the equation that you can get. Here's the key point. AB squared is equal to the secant times the external segment of the secant. Make sure you write that down. Tangent squared is equal to the entire secant times the exterior part. All right, now let's substitute in. We have 8 squared is equal to 2 plus x times 2. That's with everything substituted in. Go ahead and solve for x. Okay, so let's see what we get. Distribute to 2. We get 64 is equal to 4 plus 2x. Subtract 4. Divide by 2. X equals 30. Questions? Okay, let's go to the last one. Here's the picture. This is 15.5. This is just like scenario 1 that we had talked about in class. Okay, so we got it. Now, in this section, we talked about the intersection of chords is inside or outside or on the circle. So in this case, it's inside. Okay? That means that we add the arcs and divide by 2. Here we go. We add the arcs. Let me move it over. We add the arcs and divide by 2. We add the arcs and divide by 2. Let's put the numbers in. Go ahead and solve for x. April showers bring May flowers. We're just getting more rain in the beginning of May. Yeah, it starts tapering off this afternoon.
It's not gonna rain 3 to 5, so it's gonna start up again until 5 a.m. Fairly good percentage over there.
Okay, so if we solve, multiply by 2, subtract 80, and we get 40. You guys can handle this. Same with you, virtual. Watch this. Everyone watch the screen. If x is 40, what's 40 plus 80? 120. What's 120 divided by 2? Always works. Add the arcs, divide by 2. What's 60 times 2? 120. What's 120 minus 80? 40. Always works. You can do it mentally, which is what I want you to do for the next thing, last thing that we're doing for the day. Turn to page 845 and complete those 5 problems. Try and do it mentally, meaning don't use your calculator, just think through them and try and complete them. You can write them right in the book. I'm going to give you 5 minutes on the timer, and I will read off the correct answers at the end of the 5 minutes. Go. All right, let me read them off. I know we got 10 seconds left, but that's okay. Write them down, okay? Here are the answers. Number 1, 100. Okay, if you didn't get it right, you can go back and look at it, okay? Number 1 is 100. Number 2, 130. 130. Must be supplementary to that 50. Yeah. 130. Number 3, 240. Must all have to be 360. 240. Number 4 is 4. And number 5 is 25. 5 is 25. Yes.
What did you say number
4. The answer is 4. All right, so now listen, for the quiz tomorrow, here's what I think you ought to do, okay? You should study for about 25 minutes. 5 minutes per section. Not a lot. You don't need a lot. But you do need to look at the different examples. For instance, this was an example of where the point of intersection was out inside the circle. Well, we had 2 other scenarios. When it was on the circle and when it was outside the circle. You need to look at the other scenarios. Okay? The quiz is 5 questions. Each problem is worth 5 points. So it's 25 points total for the quiz. So it's going to be similar to what we just did, but it won't be exact. You'll have to adjust. Does that make sense? So 5 minutes per section should be enough to catch yourself up on the different possibilities. 25 minutes total. Quiz tomorrow.